Good morning class 8th chapter number 2 microorganism. Student, in previous lecture we have discussed harmful microorganism and we have discussed the communicable diseases also. So there are the some common communicable diseases in humans, animals, plants. Student, not only human beings and animals, plants can also get infected by microorganisms. So there are the some diseases, types of the pathogen, mode of transmission and preventive measure. If we talk about student, dengue, the disease of the dengue and the type of the pathogen is virus and mode of the transmission, and this dengue disease is spread through the mosquito, and there is no vaccine discovered till date. If we talk about polio and the type of the pathogen virus, and this polio disease spread through air and water, and preventive measure is here vaccination. So in the same way, if we talk about the tuberculosis, typhoid, and both are the type of the pathogen bacterium, and tuberculosis spread through air and typhoid spread through contaminated food. There is vaccination also for TB, and for typhoid there is a proper sanitation practice. So there is some common communicable diseases in animals also. So if we talk about the foot and mouth disease, and these diseases spread through virus, and the mode of transmission is physical contact with the infected animals and air, and affected animals cattle. And anthrax also, there is an anthrax disease also. This anthrax disease is in animals, type of pathogen bacterium, mode of transmission through grazing, and affected animals cattle. And fin rot, fungus, bacterium, injury, dirty water, and fish. And we have discussed also that with not only human beings and animals, plants can also be infected by microorganism. So there is some diseases also, citrus canker, bacterium Xanthomonas air, and yellow vein mosaic, and the type of the pathogen is virus, and the mode of transmission is insect. In the same way, we talk about the wheat leaf rust, and the type of the pathogen fungus, and the mode of the transmission is air and seeds. Students, now we will discuss the spoiling food, or in other word you can say that food spoilage. Microorganisms such as bacteria and fungi grow on food items containing moisture and produce toxic substance. When bacteria and fungi grow on food item containing moisture, those food items contain moisture, and so these bacteria and fungi grow in these food items and produce the toxic substances, and these toxic substances make the food poisonous, and when you eat such food item can lead to food poisoning, which can have the disastrous effect. And if we talk about raw food items, unwashed fruits and vegetables, meat, chicken, and milk may also contain microorganisms which are harmful to the humans. And many packed food juices are also contaminated by yeast, which causes fermentation and makes them useless. If such contaminated food is consumed, what will happen? If you eat this contaminated food, such like packed juice, raw food items, unwashed fruits and vegetables, so it can lead to the development of the symptom of food poisoning, such as nausea, vomiting also, abdominal cramps also, and diarrhea also. And student, souring of milk, growth of mold on bread, rotting of fruits and vegetables happen due to the presence of the microorganism on this food. Have you seen when in summer the souring of the milk and there is the presence of microorganism. Growth of mold on bread also, rotting of fruits and vegetables, they all happen due to the presence of the microorganism. Now student, we will discuss how can you preserve the food items. So what is the food preservation? You know what is the food preservation? Foods can be protected from getting spoiled by following various such technique of food preservation. What is the food preservation? Yeah, preservation, the process of preserving food. Listen carefully. The process of preserving food from being spoiled by following various techniques is known as the preservation. And student, you know, this food preservation helps to store food for a longer duration, retains the color, flavor also, texture, their value also, and stop or prevent the growth of the microbes in food. So student, there are the some method to preserve food. If we talk about heating, student, you know, most of the microorganisms are killed at high temperature. Most of the microorganisms. So if you boil the milk in a proper way, so microbes can be killed. And when you boil the water in proper way, so microbes can be killed. In milk preparing factories, a technique known as the ultra heat treatment UHT is used for the preserving milk. In this method, partial sterilization of the milk is done by heating at the 135 degrees Celsius for few seconds. Once packed, this milk stay fresh for several months. And there is also a traditional method of the preserving food. Microbes such as bacteria and fungi need moisture to grow and multiply. They need moisture. If there is no moisture, they do not grow and multiply. So the moisture content in the food is removed by the drying it in the sun. Student, when the rice, pulses, spices are cleaned and dried in the sun before storing, student, drying also reduce the weight also, and so food can be carried easily. Okay students, now cooling. This is a method of the heating and sun drying also. If we talk about student, freezing, or you can say that cooling, very low temperature also, when there will be low temperature, reduce the growth of the microbes. And you know, refrigerator maintain a temperature of 5 degrees Celsius, thus preventing growth of microbes. Deep freezers maintain the temperature at, if we talk about deep freezers, they maintain the temperature at minus 18 degrees Celsius and are used to store food for a longer duration. Once the food is taken out, the microbes begins to grow and can spoil the food. If the food items is maintained at the temperature minus 18 degrees Celsius, and so you can store this food in this temperature for a longer duration. But when the food is taken out, what will happen? The microbes begins to grow and can spoil the food. So student, the growth of the microorganism slow down when they are kept in cold environment, and so cooling the food item minimize the spoilage of food by slowing down the growth of the microorganism. And you know, refrigeration only delays but does not completely rule out the possibility of the food spoilage. If the food is taken out of the freezer, the microbes start growing again. So I hope student, these are the methods you can preserve the food: heating, cooling, sun drying. and in next lecture we will discuss the next food preservation method you can use. Okay students, take care, bye.